Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Brown Consulting webinar series. This is our webinar series on Excel and Power BI. We do this every third Thursday of the month from 9 a.m. to like 9:45 a.m. And today we're going to be talking about top 10 Power BI updates in 2019. Quite a lot of updates in 2019. We're just trying to, so it's kind of difficult for us to go through and pick 10. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Top 10 Power BI updates in 2019. So let's get started. Let's jump right into it. And just a quick intro to me. I am David Brown. I'm the managing partner of Brown Consulting. I'm also an international consultant to the World Bank and a Microsoft MVP on data analytics, so on the data platform. So this is me. You can see my handle. You can follow me on Twitter, dbrownanalyst, and you have all my videos on YouTube. You can see that link there. So join me and let's just jump straight into it. Those updates for 2019. Well, you can also join our Power BI user group because we have quite a lot of resources online. If you go to meetup.com, you can look us up as Nigeria Modern Excel and Power BI user group. That's on meetup.com. Right? We also have the financial modeling meetup group. So if you just go to meetup.com, you can also just look for financial modeling. So here we're on more than 4,000 members now, and it's growing. And we do meetups. We also managing the Nigeria Modern Excel and Power BI user group on the Power BI org, or the Power BI user groups on pbiusergroup.com/Lagos. So if you go www.pbiusergroup.com/Lagos, and that's where you get us. So that is the Nigeria Modern Excel and Power BI user group. Great. Just a quick word about our sponsors. So we have Brown Consulting sponsoring this webinar, and of course this is the Power BI user group webinar. And as I said, it's every third Thursday of the month, and we also actually have a live meetup every third Saturday of the month. Yes, so live meetup, different venues and stuff. I'll probably show you the link at the end of the webinar. You can actually type in the chat, and then we'll show you the link as well. We'll just share that link with you. Great. So jumping straight in, top 10 Power BI updates in 2019. As I said, it was quite challenging to decide which top 10 was going to be the top 10. So we decided we're going to go every single month of updates. So in January, typically they don't do any updates in January, and they start the update process in February. So February, let's jump straight in there. So this was February 2019. So this was what the updates that they had in February 2019. So reporting the updates to the new filter pane. So the filter pane, there was some really interesting updates, more filter pane formatting and stuff like that. Very good updates to the filter pane. Cross-highlighting in single points in line charts. Cross-highlighting, to us, we think that was kind of the best we saw in February, so I'm going to quickly highlight that. There was also word wrap on titles, update default visual interaction to cross filter, rounded corners for visual borders. That was very nice. I always like rounded corners. Analytics, the key influencer visual was actually released. That could have been the best, but I'm going to leave that and just give you a sneak peek. Actually, key influencer visual is just something else. It's an AI visual. Insight questions with Q&A, another AI visual. Auto-generated suggestion questions in Q&A Explorer. Too many wonderful things in February. I think they just left all sorts of stuff to put in February. That was to start the year off with a bang kind of stuff. So custom visuals, there were some custom visuals released. Custom visuals, quite a lot of custom visuals. And then you had the data connectors. Every single month there are lots of data connectors. So SurveyMonkey is one big one that was added in February 2019. So quite a lot of updates in February. So what did we pick? So in that February we picked cross-highlighting in a single point in a line chart. What do we mean by that? Cross-highlighting in a single point in a line chart. So that's what we picked for February. And here it is. So if you have a line chart, just create a typical line chart. Yeah, just create a typical line chart And what that means is if you look at this dot, we can now click on that dot and it cross highlights everything. So for this particular dot in March, where the revenue was about 8.4 billion, you can cross highlight just that dot and it's like clicking March. So you don't need to have a visual. You don't need to have January to December as a slicer. You could actually go into the chart and kind of slice by point by point, and it's going to slice by month. Of course, if you click it again, it just goes off. You click it once, it goes on. Click it again, and then of course you could have your different visuals that you put on the slicer. So you have your tooltips. So those tooltips, if I come to this visualization here, if I click on this visual and then I click on here, you'd see tooltips. Tooltips is on, and tooltips will be able to show that tip of revenue sum, right? So you could click here and just click up here, and you have the visuals. You can drop more things into this tooltip section, and then you could have more context for various tools, right? Various visuals. Very cool. Very cool stuff. So that was February. That's our pick for February. What about March? So in March 2019, another set of updates. We had a single select slicer. Single select slicer. You had heat map supports for Bing Maps. You have cross highlighting, small filter pane improvements, and then analytics, Q&A recommendations for improving results. Show dates as a hierarchy now generally available. They kind of released that the year before, but it was in beta form. So quite a lot of updates, right? PDP in PDF connector now supporting tables spanning multiple pages. This was big. This was really big. But we had to pick one, right? So PDF connector, I mean, you could use PDFs, data and PDFs, and he could use Power BI to connect to those data. It's just really wonderful stuff in March. So what did we pick for March? What did we pick? We picked single select slicer, right? Single select slicer. Yes, and what does that mean? What does single select slicer mean? So typically when you have a slicer here, look at this, you can click on northwest, right? And you see everything kind of filtered to northwest. And here you could do multi-select. You could click, hold your control key and click to do multi-select. So this is like a multi-select thing. But sometimes you don't want your users to have that option at all. You just want them to do single select. So what you do, if I click on this visual, which is a simple, typical slicer visual, I'll come in here, I'll come into this, come into the formatting. Then under selection controls, they added this button here called single select. So this single select here, if you click on this single select, you'll see that we can now just click one at a time, just a single select, right? So if I remove that single select, then you could do your multi-select. And in the multi-select, actually, here you have multi-select with control. You know, I held the control key. You can actually switch that off. So they can't do multi-select with control is with the tick. So you just tick, tick, tick for multi-select, which kind of is better instead of control, right? So you could use control or not control. Show select all option. So if I click on that select all option, you have that select all option. I click select all, right? Or not. So just a bit like Excel, isn't it? So I kind of like the single select. So single select, this just kind of forces you to only select one at a time. So it depends on how you want to do your reports. It just gives us various options for our slicer. So this slicer, you could decide a single select, multi-select with control, or multi-select with no control, all sorts of stuff. Really good stuff. So that was our pick for March. Let's see, what did April have to offer? So April, a lot of stuff on April. This analytics, you have drilled through across reports. This was really good. But you had key influencer visual now supporting continuous analysis for numeric targets. Key influencer, again, is a huge visual. It's another AI visual. Quite a lot of stuff here. Filter pane was a big one. Filter pane improvements. So lots and lots of improvements on filter pane. We just have to give it to filter pane. Filter pane was just superb. Filter pane improvements. So if I go to the April, let's say I'm going to pick okay, let's see, what was this? This is a renegade, some renegade visual here. So let me just delete that. Okay, so if I come into April, supporting the filters, so you have filter pane. What was that? They actually improved the filter. If I come to view here, you can't see the filter pane here. I have to go to view, and then I can click on this filter pane. So quite a lot of improvements to the filter pane in that month. let's recap. So what were the improvements? They had filter pane improvements included support for full filter pane editing. You had ability to rename filters, filter pane scales with the report page, restrict ability to change filter types, improve filter pane accessibility. So those were all the improvements. So if you look at the filter pane here, we could drag, this is filter on this page, filter on all pages. You could drag stuff there. So I could say, okay, come, I want to filter. Right now I have my regions here. This is my regions. I could decide, you know what, let's bring regions in. If I take my store, D store, I'm going to pick regions and drop it in here. So filter this page by region. Click there. So filter this page by region. If I pick North Central, you'll see that it filters the report. So it's just North Central here. I can decide, you know what, I'm going to pick this North Central and I'm going to lock it. You can see that I'm going to lock it here. So I'm locking it, and that way if I click this and I hide my filters, so I've kind of locked it in, and that's just North Central. Nothing anyone can do about it, right? So if I come back, how do I get my filter back? You come into view and you pick the filter, then you come here and I can unlock it. But if you click on this, let's say North and North Central, unlock, or I can just unlock it to allow people to edit, right? Basic filters, advanced filters, and the other thing, I can see filter on all pages. I can decide, you know, I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it here. Let me just kind of take it out, and let's come and take maybe, let's say model. Let's take model name and put it here. So what this means is that this filter is on all pages. So that means every single page here is going to be affected by this, almost like a universal filter, right? So if I click on ad hoc services, so if I go to another sheet maybe, or another page, I call it sheet, I like Excel. So another page, let's say February, ad hoc services. So it's technically filtered by ad hoc services, right? That's what it means. It's ad hoc services. Yeah, look at that. So this ad hoc services affects every single page. So once you click it, it just affects every page, and that's filter. So quite a lot of updates for filter. This filter pane in editing and improvements were really good in April. So that's what wins our best update for April. Great. So what about May? So what happened in May? So what do you guys think of the update so far? Which do you prefer? Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. Let me recap. So we had in February, the February update was cross-highlighting on a single point. Single point cross-highlighting, right? That means I can go to my chart and pick a single point, and it will kind of cross-highlight the entire report, right? Cross-highlight the entire report. Really cool. So that was February. March, we saw that we picked single select slicer, right? Single select slicer, being that you could come here and change your slicer from what it was multi-select before. You come in here, you click on selection control, and then you switch on single select. Yeah, this was single select that they added in there, right? Previously it was multi-select, and I can say multi-select with control. I hold my control key. So it depends on your users, what your users want, right? So which do you prefer of the two? So I've just shown you these two, which you have the point on your line chart that you can select, or the single point on your slicer that you can select, or in April, the big improvements to the filter pane. Out of these three, type in the chat which you think works best, or which you think was the best. I won't be biased, but I think the improvements to filter were really, really cool. All right, so that's April. That's like technically first quarter, although it's 1 month after the first quarter, the first 3 months. So let's see what happened in May. What happened in May? So in May, these are the things that happened. We had Performance Analyzer pane. Now this is big, Performance Analyzer. Even though we didn't pick it, I think it's worth a mention. Performance Analyzer pane was huge. This is it here. If I go to View, now if I click this drop down here, this is how it used to look before. You also, these are improvements to the UI. So if I click on the Performance Analyzer, I know it wasn't chosen, it's not part of our analysis, but you could click on Start Recording and then analyze what's the performance of Power BI, right? What's the performance, how well is it doing what it should be doing, right? How well is it running this visual? So you see all this analysis on how quickly these visuals ran, right? You click on text box, you see, okay, this visual, how it ran pretty well. Let's see, text box doesn't have any DAX. If I click on this one, right? If I click on this, let's see how this analyze. Let's check line chart. So if I click on this line chart, you can see it has some DAX. The DAX took 29 milliseconds. Oh, very tiny. Yeah. If I click on the copy query, I'll be able to copy whatever the DAX query is and go paste it somewhere and check it out. This is cool. This is big. Performance Analyzer. Well, we didn't pick it. We had to vote, right? So we didn't really pick it, Performance Analyzer, but please check it out. So what did we pick? What did we pick? So that was our May, right? What did we pick for the May updates? Let me close Performance Analyzer, minimize this and minimize this. So these were all the updates. I love Performance Analyzer. It's extremely good when you're deploying a Power BI, you're doing a deployment, a Power BI deployment. Yeah, it really shows you what is making things slow. How do we improve our DAX? Right. What about the filter pane improvements? Sorting filter cards, theme support, so continuous improvement in filter panes. Table and matrix keyboard navigation, line data label position control, KPI visual indicator text size control, analytics key influencer visual improvements. These were really big improvements. Binning support, formatting options, mobile support. Then modeling updates to the all selected DAX function. I think we had to update certain things that probably were not working too well. Visualizations, always good. New and better visualizations. And data connections, more data connectors. So out of here, we chose the key influencer visual. So we chose the key influencer visual, and that was our main top visual for that month. Key influencer visual formatting options. So if I go to May demo, what is the key influencer visual? Well, let's see. What is influencing certain metrics in your data? Key influencer is actually an AI visual. This is it here. As you look at it here, key influencer. If I click on it, so this is key influencer visual. Let me just make it big here. So this does a lot of regression, right? If you like statistics, you will love this because it goes through all your data and tries to explain things. Very important visual. So if I come, let's bring in some data. Let's click on this. Let's say what I want to analyze. Let's say I'm analyzing budget variance, right? Budget variance. So here I just selected a metric. I just selected a metric called budget variance. So see what the key influencer visual did? I just take it says what influences budget variance to increase or decrease, right? What influences budget variance to increase or decrease? So let me choose decrease. So what influences budget variance to decrease? Great. And of course, there's no data here. So let's pick some things. Let's pick something. Let's say what influences to increase for, let's put some dates. Let's put large data. Say dates. Where is it? Date. I don't want to group these dates. So I'm just want date itself, just the date. Let's say store. Let's say region, let's say state, let's say. So you see right now it's not analyzing anything because there's not enough data. You need a lot of data for it to analyze. I'm going to put store name as well. So it's gathering all the data, and just like statistics, you need a critical mass of data for it to really do some analysis that makes sense. So I put region, state, and store name. Let me add some more data. Let's say model name, right? Okay, that seems to be enough for now. Good. So you see, so I've analyzed, I've added. I want to know what influences budget variance to decrease. Yeah, so budget variance to decrease. So budget and actual, budget variance to decrease from region, state, store, and model. And what did it come up with? It says when the average of budget variance decreases by 7.59, or when the model name is general repairs. Okay, so when the model name is general repairs, the average of budget variance decreases by 7.59. So just model. So this is general repairs. So general repairs seems to be where the major decreases in budget variances are coming from. All right, interesting. So if I click this, then you see further analysis here. budget variances. So it breaks it down into bins. So what the updates they did is binning things. They kind of increased or improved the way they could bin things. Okay, if I click on only show values that are influencers, so these are the main influencers: general repairs, motherboards, printer repairs, and this. And yeah, so we could go a step further and go to top segments. What are the top segments that are real influencers? So you have segment 1, you have the average of budget variance in the population count. So 98.53% under segment 1. If I click in segment 1 itself to see what that's all about, so you can now see some more analysis about segment 1 and the overall performance. And segment 1 contains 124 data points, 13.9% of the entire data. In segment 1, the average budget variance is 98.53% negative. This is 6.54% units lower than the overall average variance. Okay, so if it's when a budget variance more likely to be low, what about high? When is budget variance more likely to be high? All right, let's see that. So it's running the analysis, doing the same regression again, doing it all from scratch again. And this doesn't look too interesting. Let's go back to key influencer. And I say, okay, what influences budget variance to increase? Let's say decrease, right? Let's influences it to decrease. Let's see what influences it to decrease. Quite a lot more things. And you see it's analyzing there. So you could be on this for all day. I mean, there's so much interesting stuff going on there. We don't have that much time, so let's move on. So that was our May update, right? Our May update. So the May update, just to recap, if I click on this, hopefully it comes up. It's coming up. Don't crash on me, please. Right, this is quite a heavy file, so it's kind of dragging. Okay, so those are your performance analyzer, and what we picked was the key influencer visual improvements, right? That was our May. That was our May updates. So what about June? What's happened in June? Let's quickly jump into June. June updates. What can we say about June? So June. Click on oops. Hopefully come up. Oh, I'm jumping straight to July. Okay, I guess we jumped June. We skipped June. Let's just skip June. Not much time. So July, what happened here? Icon sets for table and matrix, percentage support for conditional formatting by rules. New filter pane is now generally available. The filter pane I showed you the other time, that was the beta. Analytics count for key influencer visual improvements. There are lots of improvements. So what did we pick, or what was our pick for July? We picked data colors support when using play axis on scatter plot. Now there was just, I think, a small snag when it came to scatter plots, but scatter plots are one of our most favorite visuals. It's really super visual because it kind of tells a story. What a scatter plot does is you have two variables and you're trying to say one variable explains another variable, right? So for example, revenue and transactions is a classic one. You have revenue to the left here, and then you have transactions here. So you have transactions, you have revenue, right? And we're saying as revenue goes up, we're hoping that transaction goes up. So if you look at this visual here, this is northeast. I had to hover over these things to see what they were. So this is northeast, and it had 34 transactions and 65 million in sales. So if I play my axis, you could see them moving. Pretty nice, right? I pause, but the support, what changed really, I think, is the legend. So we had a legend. I mean, you could switch on the legend and you see the legend come up here, which we didn't have. We couldn't switch off or on or whatever the legend. Now I can switch it on and off, and that's it here up there. So that was an improvement for the scatter plot, and scatter plot is a really favorite visual of ours, so that was really nice. So that was the updates for July. That's our pick. August. What happened in August? So August, we had not too much updates. We had grouping, visuals, filter pane and migration, icon style picker for icon conditional formatting, warnings, and then key influencer again had measure support, general availability, quite a few things here. So what was our pick? Pick was grouping visuals. So grouping visuals, I'll show you another visual to see how we group visuals, right? So grouping visuals, I'll just come to this visual here, and if I click this visual, and I clip this visual, let's assume I had so many more visuals and I just want to align them and take them, work on them at the same time. You could click this, hold your control and click this and right click, then you see group and you group. Now they are one visual and I can kind of drag all of them at the same time. See that? I can just click and drag. Yeah, I can drag them all together, right? And that's grouping visuals. Pretty cool. You can always ungroup as well. Just right click, group, ungroup, right? So that was good, especially if you have so many visuals to manage and you need to kind of align them and do all of them at the same time. So that was grouping visuals. So yeah, that was our pick for August. And let's move on to, yeah, so what's the next one? September. So quite a few more improvements. Color and text classes in themes. New default themes. I think this was big, and in fact that was our pick. New default themes. Although they had a new function, a new DAX function in September, which is remove filters and convert. For the DAX lovers, this was really, really good. You had to really know more complex DAX computation or create a, how will I call it, create lots of functions together to be able to do this effect. But this kind of improved your DAX writing skills, right? New filters to kind of help you out, remove filters and convert. Data preparation, copy to clipboard from data profiling, also pretty good. You can check that out online. Direct query support generally available, also very good. Power App Visual, now generally available. That's super. Power Apps, we're going to be doing quite a lot of Power Apps in our meetups this year. So watch out, lots of Power Apps in our meetups this year, and Power Automate. So what did we pick? We picked new default themes. New default themes. Because it's so much easier to use new default themes. So that was our pick. New default themes. Okay, and on pin visuals. What does that mean? On pin visuals. Okay. So new default themes, you can get that right here in view. If you go to view up here, see view, you click here, and these are the new default visuals. I can click on one of the themes and it kind of updates your themes. You click on themes. If I had many colors, you would have seen the effect. I don't really have bars with colors. You would have seen that effect there. So these are your new default themes. And of course, you have your browse for themes. If I can go online and browse for themes, well, I can pick themes here, but really let's leave that. And yeah, you could do, if you know JSON, you could get export your theme. You could how to create themes. I can click on that. You'll see how to create themes. It will just pop up a video online for you to see, or it's actually documentation online from Microsoft on how you actually report or manage themes. So that documentation, let me just pop it here for you to have a look. So this is it. Once you click that, this is how different documentation on using themes. If you go to docs.microsoft.com, you'll be able to go there, or just click it directly and you see, read all about it and see how do you create your own nice, wonderful themes to make things easier, right? Very cool. Very, very cool. It's quite a long documentation, but it's worth reading, because once you create a theme, you manage it, all your reports will be standard, beautiful, and that you learn a little bit of JSON because you need that code, but there's lots of templates for you to use here. So read it. How did I get here? Let me remind you. I went to down here for the view tab, clicked here. Then under view tab, I clicked on the drop down for themes. Hold on a second. The system seems to be misbehaving. This tool is quite heavy. Slow down, guys. Slow down. Good. All right. There we go. It's still there. Okay, good. So here, how to create themes. That's what you click. Once you click that, it's going to open the Microsoft documentation on creating themes. And that's how you get there. Great. So that was for September themes. Then what about on pinning visuals? What do we mean by that? If I go to visualization, right? These are your standard visuals. And many a times people, you don't use certain visuals like this pie chart. This pie chart is terrible. Don't use pie charts. Pie charts, you can always get a better chart than a pie chart. So right click this pie chart and say, hey, I'm unpinning this visual. I don't want it anymore. So it's going to unpin this. It's going to remove pie chart from here, and it's just going to add it to almost like a custom visual. Look at the warning. It says you're about to remove this visual from the visualization pane. To use this visual in the future, you'll need to restore default visuals. So click OK. And guess what? Pie chart is going to leave here and it's going to join this guy here. Just watch. Hopefully, move on, move. Yeah, it's taking a while. Pie chart doesn't want to move. Just give it a few seconds. Pie chart, off you go. Pie chart is pretty stubborn. You see, you unpin the visual and the guy refuses to go. Click OK. He's supposed to move out. Now he moves out. Can you see him there? So now he moves out. Look at the pie chart there. So you could right click and unpin all the visuals you really don't want to use or you don't use regularly. So you kind of declutter this place, right? And of course, you still have your custom visuals. So your custom visuals, you could click here and then pick custom visuals that come down here, right? So that's unpinning visuals, really good. But if you want to get your pie chart back, you need to click on these three dots here and then say restore default visuals, right? Delete custom visuals, import custom visuals, import from file, all sorts of stuff. Perfect. So that was your September pick from us. What about October? What do they have for us in October? What do they have from Microsoft for Power BI? So another long list of updates. On reporting, they had automatic page refresh for direct query preview. Really nice. This is on a preview. It's not generally available as at then. The new Q&A visual. This was really big. The new Q&A visual. Improved user experience for Q&A. A lot of stuff on Q&A. Natural language improvements for Q&A. Q&A tooling. Support for SSES and Azure AS, including RLS. This Q&A, I mean, you could just see there's so much stuff on Q&A. Power Apps visual is now included by default. New XViz visual. That's XViz. Our friends from XViz. But well, guess what? Of course, we had to pick Q&A. I mean, Q&A was just a huge improvement. So the new Q&A visual was it, right? So what were the improvements? Quite a lot. You could read about it. But how do you use Q&A? You just go to your page and double click. You double click, the Q&A visual will appear, and that's it coming up. Yeah, Q&A. So I can make this a bit bigger so we can see this, right? So this is your Q&A, right? So it kind of suggests things for you based on your data. It's giving you suggestions on how you can write your Q&A, and yeah, so you just write. So let's take one of the suggestions. Let's just do ours, right? What is sales by region, right? By region for which year is that? Oh, you can see it's giving me various states. Let's say 20, I don't know what data this is, 2014. You have data for 2014? Yeah, okay, good. So that's my Q&A. So what is sales by region 2014? Let me say as a pie chart. I don't like pie charts, but let's just say pie chart. Right? No. Did I remove pie chart? Can you see that? I've removed pie chart, so it's not there anymore. So no pie charts for me, which is good. So as a map, can you do region by map? But regions, I'm not too sure I will do a map. Let's see map. Let's say matrix. Matrix visual is nice. Well, it did actually. It did by map, but let's go to matrix. Choose matrix. So it's sleeker, better, nicer. This is it. So this is your visual. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, so that's the new Q&A visual. You could also click on this cog for settings for the Q&A visual and then see lots more things. Review questions. You want to review questions people have asked, fixed misunderstandings. So when you're reviewing, you're trying to see, okay, someone asked a question, you gave a different answer. How do we improve that? You want to teach the machine learning algorithm. You want to keep teaching it to understand what's best, what are the things that you think are best, understanding you better as a person or a group of people, and the terms that people use. You're teaching Q&A, right? Managing terms, manage the terms and definitions you've taught Q&A, right? And help. So you could click on this and it basically goes online, it goes to the documentation online and YouTube and plays a video to kind of help you out on understanding how to use these things. So it's really, really good stuff. Excellent stuff, right? So let me close that. Great. So that was your Q&A. Review questions, teach Q&A, lots of stuff, lots of stuff. And then of course, if you like the visual, if I close this, you can always pin the visual, right? You like this visual, you could always click on this and say turn the Q&A result into a standard visual. Once you click it, this becomes a standard visual. You'll put it somewhere else, and you can come into your blank space and double click again to do a new Q&A. Right, I just double click and I do my new Q&A, and we go on, right? Ask another question, and then you'll be able to create your own custom visual. I mean, create a beautiful visual with another Q&A, right? Let me see. I need sales by model. All right. Okay, I didn't spell that well. Sales. Okay, I know sales by model. It's not bad. I know sales by model. Right, and I like this one as well. So let's go. I know sales by model. And let me reduce the size of this. So you just play around with your Q&A. I like this. I pin it, and you just go ahead, and that's it. So Q&A, big improvements for Q&A in October. What about November? So November, we had modern ribbon preview. So November big thing was the modern ribbon, but there were kind of more big things. You had the decomposition tree visual as well as a preview. Then conditional formatting, button formatting, conditional format, button formatting, visualizations, new interesting visuals, zoom chart, drill down, waterfall charts and stuff. But this two, right, were super big. Modern ribbon preview. That's what you're looking at right now. This is the modern modern ribbon. Everything here, that is the modern ribbon. Big improvements. I can minimize the ribbon now, and then I could actually go to view and see the filter. See, I can activate the filter pane. I can deactivate the filter pane, selection pane, performance analyzer, under view, help had so many more things. So I can kind of minimize this. So this was a big improvement. I mean, the UI is getting better and better. Text box, ask a question, buttons, shapes, images, everything that you insert. So what they're really trying to do, right, is almost make it look like Excel, PowerPoint, and Office, right? They're making it almost look like Office. Eventually, I can predict this for you. Under Home, you're going to see some formatting stuff. So if you want to format, you click on something, you just be able to format it almost like Office right now. So it's getting better and better, the UI. They're doing a lot of work on the UI, right? So that was really just the cat out of the bag. The November pick for us was the modern ribbon, for sure. The modern ribbon, super excellent. And that's what you have up here, right? The modern ribbon makes it easier, it's more intuitive, and it just looks better and more professional. The product is getting mature. Really nice. So what about December, our last one? What about December? What was there in December? Again, quite a lot of stuff in December. Customizing current theme, export current theme, setting table columns or matrix value to a custom URL, KPIs, new decomposition tree formatting and stuff. But really, what we will pick, I mean, there was a new function to quarter. I haven't even tried. I haven't used that. I need to check that out. Loads more analytics inside, and lots of stuff. Lots of interesting stuff. So, reporting, what did we pick? It has to be the decomposition tree. So the decomposition tree was really something. What do we mean by the decomposition tree? So let me do a quick demo. So here's the decomposition tree. This is how it looks. It looks like a tree, branches out and stuff. So why do you pick it? It's another of their AI visuals, right? Any visual you see with this kind of tiny bulb is an AI visual. So lots of AI. So if I click on the decomposition tree, this is it here. Right? Any one of you has used this in PowerPoint. PowerPoint, there is this transition called morph. Now that's some super transition, and that is a bit morphy like morph, right? So this is your decomposition tree. Let's do some analysis. Let's say we want to decompose what? Let's pick a metric. Let's say lots of metrics. Revenue or transactions, distinct count, annual sales. Let's just say annual sales, right? So annual sales. What did I pick? This is not decomposition tree. This is key influencer. Let's go. Is this the decomposition tree here? Decomposition tree. Yep. So I'm analyzing annual sales. Yeah, look at it. So this is annual sales. How are we going to break annual sales? Let's break it by categories, right? So you have a metric first, and then you want to break it reported by hierarchy. So let's pick region first. So if I pick region, so this is region. I just selected region. So if you click on this plus sign, it's going to give us the composition of a region, right? Let's click, double click, click, click out. Oh, let me slow down. Click. Yeah, there we go. So northeast, southeast, southwest, and everything. Then let me bring in region. Let's say state, right? So pick state. So if I pick state and I pick this, click on this. So we're saying that we have annual sales for northeast, and I click on this plus sign. Let's say high value. What's the high value? So these are the states under northeast. You have your region, your state. Annual sales is highest when state is Gombe. All right, that's good. Oh, okay, it's highest when state is Gombe, and then I guess it's lowest when state is Borno, right? Right, and then state. We could say, okay, do you know what? We also want. Let me pick model name, right? So model name. So for this state in particular, what was the lowest value? So model name, right? And these are all the values for products. Yeah, I'm zooming in and out with my mouse. This is me zooming in and out, and then I can go put something else there. So zoom in and out. Oh, and of course, it's all cross highlighting. You could cross highlight stuff. Have this here, and then you use it to kind of cross highlight other things as well. You click on this. This decomposes that. This decomposes that. This is really good. I mean, this is super good. Gombe had the highest, and these are all the percentage sales for all the rest. Go play with this. It's beautiful, really beautiful. I guess anyone in HR would think you could create an organogram with this. It looks like an organogram. Right, so that was December, right? So guys, we've gone through 10 plus 1 bonus, right? 11, or let's say 10. We left 1 month out, so it's 10. So it's really 10. Those are our 10 best visuals. So please go online, go to our online, go www.officetraininghub.com. You see lots of trainings there. We're developing training, free trainings for Power BI, free training for Power Apps and stuff that we're going to be loading onto this website very soon. There's a free Excel training there right now. So go to www.officetraininghub.com. Go enjoy that. And if you also want to learn a lot about Power BI, we have a reporting and analytics with Power BI course. Go check it out, dbrownconsulting.net, and learn Power BI with us. Right? So this was a webinar from our monthly webinar series. This is our top 10 Power BI updates in 2019. And I'm David Brown, and I'm really glad to have kind of shared this with you. Please type in the comment below which was your best visual for the entire thing. What was your best? I think I love the decomposition visual, but there's so many more, right? I mean, the decomposition tree. Then you have Excel and Power BI webinar series. That's us. Meet us again every third Thursday of the month from 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Any questions? Anyone want to type in the chat? Any questions you have, just type it out in the chat. You want to have the link to register for the webinars. The link is there. Join the link there. And if you want to register for our other webinars, we have webinars in financial modeling, and we also have live meetups every third Saturday of the month. We're going to share the link as well there, third Saturdays of the month. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us for another D Brown Consulting Power BI and Excel webinar series. This was a webinar on the top 10 Power BI updates in 2019. Great. See you again next month, same time. Hope you enjoy your break, and everybody's enjoying their break, of course. And we'll see you again next month. Thank you, guys. I'll just hang around a little bit on the chat and just chat with a few of you. And thank you. See you next month. Bye-bye.